with the public, you're going to get people who are fucking awesome. I tell you what, one of the things I didn't include in the Facebook update for it is that one of the guys who I was talking to, right, he actually spoke to me. He said he only lived like 10 minutes along the road, but he's after having a really awesome chat with him about different documentaries and stuff. He basically said to me, "Tell you what, I've got loads of DVDs of these because I was giving away DVDs. He wanted to give me some DVDs, so I was just like, yeah, go for it." So he came back like 10 minutes later, and he came back and and now I've got loads of DVDs of loads of different documentaries. I mean I haven't got round to watching What in the World Are They Spraying and Why in the World Are They Spraying, but I've got DVDs of them now. I think a few of these, I went through, because he basically handed me like a bundle of them saying, so have you seen any of these? And, he had a copy of Esoteric Agenda and Kymatica. I've seen those. I love Kymatica. Right? If you guys haven't seen Kymatica, see it. Go see it. Go to YouTube, type it into YouTube. It's on there. There's loads of different mirrors of it as well. There's different parts to it that are chopped up, so you can watch it in parts if you don't want to watch a whole, I think it's like an hour and a half or something. Maybe just an hour. But it's in different parts. I think some of these are Alex Jones documentaries. I can't remember. But yeah, he just gave me those. So now I've got lots of stuff that I can start watching now. That's the wonderful thing about engaging with the public is you don't just get if you hold an information stall, you're not the only one giving out information. You get information from people. Yeah? You get information. So don't you think that's good for any activist to be, receptive to information and like write it down? Because I think, oh crap, I wrote a website address on my hand, but the ink has faded now, so bloody hell. Well, I took a constant audio recording of the information store, so I can just rewind it back to that and just write it down again. But yeah, it's the one thing that I have found is actually quite productive, because now I know that there will at least be one guy, possibly two people, who may attend events now. People who are from Maidstone, they're familiar with the Zeitgeist movement, they like the idea. They say, yeah, they either say, I'm in support of it, or they say, I'd like to find out more, And so I say, well, help yourself to a DVD and a leaflet, and because obviously in a high street, people are coming and going all the time. People can't hang around and chat all the time. So there comes a point where you just have to, stop talking and just say, have a look at that. Don't believe anything I've said. That's one of the things that, because I was actually approached by some environmental enforcement officers, not in their official capacity. They were hanging around for most of the time, but they actually came over to have a good chat. Because one of them said, I actually agree with like 80% of what you say. And I said to him, okay, that's cool. Well, I'll tell you what. One thing that I'd like you to do is take that 80% and reduce it down to 0. Yeah? Don't believe anything I've said. Look it up for yourself. I put it more down. I basically just cited my disclaimer, don't believe a single word I say. Instead, use what I'm saying as inspiration to do your own research and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was, and that made him smile. Because the thing is, when you reassure someone that you're not trying to dictate information to them, when you're saying to them, I trust you to have a good, reasonable, critical mind. You have that, yeah? You don't need me to tell you what's what. You can find out what's what. You know? You can see for yourself. Do you know why? Because you've got your own mind. It's none of my business to tell you what to believe. You know? I can provide information, and I will discuss my point of view. I will ask you questions. I will engage with you. I will, chat to you. We'll have a laugh. We'll throw out different ideas, and we'll learn off of each other's ideas, and but we can do all that. That's brilliant. But I will not dictate to you. If you agree 80%, then that's cool. That's really good. Are you sure that? How did you arrive at the 80% exactly? Granted, they were hanging around for a while, and I had said a lot of things on the megaphone. But maybe he was counting it up in his head. I don't know. Maybe it was like maybe if there's like a list of 10 general subjects that I was touching on the megaphone, he agreed with me out of 8 of those. Maybe, I don't know. But really, it's not me that he's agreeing with. It's the information that I'm communicating. But yeah, they came up. They were hanging around, and we had a good chat, and it was interesting. I told them about the environmental enforcement film that my friend Dan had produced and written. I was interested, and they had actually heard of it's a mockumentary. I've heard of the film. I'm not sure if they have seen it, but they did hear about it. Probably because they read about it in the KM actually, and there's several videos on YouTube about it. Some of them that I'm actually in, but yeah, they came over, they had a chat, and and we discussed things, and we were on mutual ground because for one thing, they weren't dressed like they used to. They used to wear the vest, but because I actually said to them, so do you guys wear fleeces now? And they said, yeah, we've actually chucked out the idea of wearing the vest because it makes us seem intimidating. Yeah, that's what he actually said. It makes them seem, and I was just like, well, yeah, because at a glance, you're indistinguishable from a actual real police officer, and that's the thing about most uniforms that either have enforcement or police in the title. They generally have the same sort of approach to the look of the uniform, like black and white or blue or navy blue or something. But it would look, it wouldn't look like casual wear. It does actually look like an enforcement uniform from what we generally understand to be one. But yeah, and because they were, it's an interesting angle that they use fleeces, because then they look like they're just in plain clothes. It's only when you actually look at their fleeces that it actually has environmental enforcement printed on the back and a small environmental enforcement on the front. And I think they have like a name badge or something. But yeah, they have like they still have the cameras as well. They still have the personal wear CCTV cameras that they wear on them. But yeah, it was an interesting chat. How because we were just considering each other as just equal human beings, not as an activist and an environmental enforcement officer. That those are distinctions that draw lines between people, that separate people. And, uniforms are a perfect way to do that. But yeah, overall, I find the information still there. I mean, they are taxing in a sense because, I'm there for 5 hours and I'm either talking on the megaphone or I'm talking to people or I'm thinking of things to say, and it's a constant process. You don't get any, I don't go on any break. I mean, for one thing, I haven't got anyone to watch the stall, so I can't go on a break. But yeah, I mean, we're coming up on about an hour and 40 minutes now for this podcast. So I think I've probably said enough now. But I'll just close it out by saying that I'm going to be ramping up a music project pretty soon. I'm going to be making some music videos that I'm going to be putting up on YouTube. I'm going to basically be accumulating a body of work which I can then perform in live gigs. So that's going to be I think I'm going to make a video for all the songs that I write first off. But as I start making more and more music, I'm able to make less and less videos because it's a much higher workload. But that aside, I'm also going to be starting work on a radio play by the name of Losing My Religion. It's basically going to be a radio play which follows the development of one person as they go from what is essentially a complete drone of the monetary system to someone who becomes a sustainability advocate. And this is either going to be through I don't know whether I'm going to do it through some sort of recording of a vlog, like a vlog, like YouTube channel sort of approach. I mean, if I'm going to do it that way, then I think I might want to include video along with it, in which case the other actors will have to be people that are comfortable with being on video as well as being on audio. So yeah, it's basically, it's going to be like a sort of progression through just using that, like using recordings of podcasts or something. Because I haven't completely fleshed out the idea. Because why would someone who completely follows the monetary system have a podcast? Why would they? They might have a YouTube account that they put up videos of them doing silly things. Yeah, maybe it's a person who starts off doing really silly shit, and they, yeah, I think that might be an angle that I might go for. And then it also includes recordings from TeamSpeak meetings or Skype calls or Google Hangouts or FaceTime or whatever. So it's going to be dealing with things like that. So that I'm looking forward to. But I'm going to close out the podcast now. Thank you all for listening, guys. Just another word for our sponsor, Prior Portal. It's a horoscope service that offers horoscopes of your past, and it's something that it doesn't presume to know the future, because the future hasn't happened yet. The past has happened, so we can guarantee you that we can give you a 100% accurate reading. Guaranteed, or your money back. And also, if you go to www.prioportal.com/offer and enter the code name Adam, you'll get 25% off of your first 3 readings. Yeah? So, go for that. Just to give the other plug again, if you want to know exactly what the Zeitgeist Movement advocates, there is a text, an extensive text that explains exactly what we advocate. It's called The Zeitgeist Movement Defined. You can download it for free on from the zeitgeistmovement.com in PDF format. Or if you want, you don't have to do this. You know, do this only if you want. If you want a physical book of the Zeitgeist Movement Defined, and thus require chopping down of trees, then you can buy it from Amazon or Lulu as well. But that's the podcast. Sorry for this podcast being one day late. I wanted to offer the insights from the latest information stall, so that's that. But anyway, thank you all for listening, guys. Just make sure that you do whatever you can throughout your life to at least make sure that you're doing what you can. Yeah, to make this world a better place. Yeah, and if you're doing everything that you can, then that's all you can do. And everyone doing everything that they can will result in the world becoming a better place. So, thank you all for listening, guys. Take care.